Good day everyone. For today's video, I'm going to share to you the summary of our CCNA version 7 Bridging SRWE course, our switching, routing, and wireless essentials. So in our chapter 10, we have LAN security concepts. And under that, we have the endpoint security, network attacks today. We have, in network attacks today, we have distributed denial of service or our DDoS, data breach, and our malware. In malware, we have, example of malware is a ransomware. Next is network security devices. In our network security devices, we have our VPN-enabled router, our new generation firewall or our NGFW, and our NAC. Endpoint protection. LAN devices such as switches, wireless LAN controllers, and other access point devices interconnect endpoints. The example of our endpoints are our laptops, computers, and IP phones. Cisco Email Security Appliance. The Cisco ESA is a device that is designed to monitor Simple Mail Transfer Protocol or our SMTP. Next is our Cisco Web Security Appliance. Cisco WSA or our Web Security Appliance provides complete control over how users access the internet. Next is our access control. In our access control, we have authentication with local password. Many types of authentication can be performed on networking devices, and each method offers varying levels of security. And then we have here our AAA components. Our AAA provides the primary framework to set up access control on a network device. For our authentication, local AAA stores usernames and passwords locally in a network device such as the Cisco router. In our authentication, we have local AAA authentication and we have server-based AAA authentication. With the server-based method, the router accesses a central AAA server. A AAA server contains the usernames and password of all users. Next, we have authorization. Authorization uses a set of attributes that describes the user access to the network. In our accounting, a primary use of accounting is to combine it with AAA authentication. Also, we have 802.1x. With 802.1x port-based authentication, the devices in the network have a specific role. As shown in the figure, we have client or our supplicant is a device running 802.1x compliant client software. We have also switch or our authenticator. It acts as an intermediary between the client and the authentication server. Our authentication server is a server validates the identity of the client and notifies the switch or wireless access point that the client is or is not authorized to access the LAN and switch services. Next, we have our Layer 2 security threats. In our Layer 2 security threats, we have Layer 2 vulnerabilities, and in in our Layer 2 vulnerability threats, network administrator routinely implement security solutions to protect the elements in Layer 3 up through Layer 7. Next, we have switch attack categories. Security is only as strong as the weakest link in the system, and Layer 2 is considered to be that weak link. Next is our switch attack mitigation. The table provides an overview of Cisco solution to help mitigate Layer 2. So, in our mitigation techniques, we have port security, DHP snooping, dynamic ARP inspection, and IP source guard. Next, we have MAC address table attack. In our MAC address table attack, switch operation review, it is a to make forwarding decisions, a Layer 2 LAN switch builds a table based on the source MAC addresses in the received frames. Next, our MAC address table flooding. When this occurs, the switches threats the frame as an unknown unicast and begins to flood all incoming traffic out all ports on the same VLAN without referencing the MAC table. Next, we have our MAC address table attack mitigation. What makes tools such as MacOF so dangerous is that an attacker can create a MAC table overflow attack very quickly. Next, we have VLAN hopping attacks. In our VLAN hopping attacks, we have here our VLAN hopping attacks enable traffic from one VLAN to be seen by another VLAN without the aid of a router. In a basic VLAN hopping attack, the threat actor configures a host to act like a switch to take advantage of the automatic trunking port features enabled by default on most switches ports. And then we have here our VLAN tagging attack. In our VLAN tagging attack, a threat actor in a specific situation could embed a hidden 802.1Q tag inside the frame that already has an 802.1Q tag. Next, our DHCP messages. DHCP servers dynamically provide IP configuration information including IP addresses, subnet mask, default gateway. Our DHCP attacks, we have DHCP starvation attack, DHCP spoofing attack. In our DHCP spoofing attacks, under that is we have our wrong default gateway, wrong DNS server, and wrong IP addresses. Next, our ARP attacks. The problem is that an attacker can send a gratuitous ARP message containing a spoofed MAC address to a switch, and the switch would update its MAC table accordingly. ARP spoofing and ARP poisoning are mitigated by implementing DAI. And next, our address spoofing attack. IP addresses and MAC addresses can be spoofed for a variety of reasons. IP address spoofing is when a threat actor hijacks a valid IP address of another device on the subnet or uses a random IP addresses. Next, our STP attacks. To conduct an STP manipulation attack, the attacking host broadcasts STP bridge protocol data units containing configuration and topology changes that will force spanning tree recalculation as shown in the figure. Next is our CDP reconnaissance, or our Cisco Discovery Protocol, is a proprietary layer 2 link discovery protocol. Next, we're going to our chapter 11, the switch security configuration. In our chapter 11, switch security configuration, we have implement port security. And under that, we have secure unused ports. In our secure unused ports, we have secure unused ports. Layer 2 devices are considered to be the weakest link in the company's security infrastructure. Then, we have mitigate MAC address table attacks, enable port security, limit and learn MAC addresses, port security aging, port security violation modes, and our verify port security. And now we're going to our mitigate VLAN attacks. In our mitigate VLAN attacks, we have our VLAN attacks review. So, as the VLAN hopping attack can be launched in one of these three ways. First, spoofing DTP messages from attacked host to cause the switch to enter tracking mode. Next is introducing a range switch and enabling tracking. And next, another type of VLAN hopping attack is a double tagging attack. Next, our DHCP snooping. And we have our steps to implement DHCP snooping. DHCP snooping configuration example. And then we have our mitigate ARP attacks. We have dynamic ARP attack. Our DAI implementation guidelines. In our dynamic ARP attack, we have Dynamic requires DHCP snooping and helps prevent ARP attacks. Then we have the AI implementation guidelines. Enable DHCP snooping globally, and enable DHCP snooping on selected VLANs, enable the AI on selected VLANs, configure trusted interfaces for DHCP snooping and ARP inspection. Next, our DAI configuration example. This example is enabled because the AI requires the DHCP snooping binding tables to operate. Next, in our DAI configuration example, we have destination MAC, which checks the destination MAC addresses in the internet header against the target MAC addresses in ARP body. We have also our source MAC, checks the source MAC address in the internet header against the sender MAC addresses in the ARP body. Next, our IP address checks the ARP body for invalid and unexpected IP addresses, including addresses 0.0.0 and our 255.255.255.255 and all multicast addresses. Next, we have our mitigate STP attacks. In our mitigate STP attacks, we have port fast and BPDU guard. We have configure port fast. We have configure DPDU guard. For our chapter 12, our LAN concepts, we have our introduction to wireless. Benefits of wireless. A wireless LAN is a type of wireless network that is commonly used in homes, offices, and campus environments. Next, we have here types of wireless networks, our PAN, LAN, MAN, and WANs. The difference of that four is that our wireless personal area networks, or our PAN, is uses to low power transmitters for a short range network. In our LANs, uses transmitters to cover a medium-sized networks. For our MAN, uses transmitters to provide wireless service over a large geographic area. And in our WANs, wireless wide area networks, it uses transmitters to provide coverage over an extensive geographic area. Next, our wireless technologies, we have Bluetooth, WiMAX, or our worldwide interoperability or for microwave access, cellular broadband, and satellite broadband. In our Bluetooth, uses a device pairing processes to communicate over distances up to 300 feet. Our WiMAX is an alternative to broadband wired internet connections, competing with DSL and cable. In our cellular broadband, cellular 4 gig to 5 gig are wireless mobile networks primarily used by cellular phones but can be used in automobiles, tablets, and laptops. For our satellite broadband, satellite broadband provides network access to remote sites through the uses of a directional satellite dish that is aligned with a specific geostationary Earth orbit satellite. Next, we have our 802.11 standards. Then we have radio frequencies, wireless standards organizations, and then in our LAN concepts, components is we have here our wireless NICs. We have also wireless home router, wireless access point, and then in our wireless home router, we have access point, switch, and router. The access point, this provides 802.11 A, B, G, and AC wireless access. In our switch, this provides a 4-port full duplex 10, 100, and 1000 Ethernet switch to interconnect wired devices. In our router, this provides a default gateway for connecting to other network infrastructures such as the internet. Next, our wireless access point. AP categories, we have autonomous APs. These are standalone devices configured using a command line interface or a GUI. As shown, autonomous APs are useful in situations where only a couple of APs are required in the organization. Next, we have controller-based APs. These devices require no initial configuration and are often called lightweight APs or our LAPs. Next, our wireless antennas. We have three different kind of antennas. We have omnidirectional antennas such as the one shown in the figure provide 360-degree coverage and are ideal in houses, open office areas, conference room, and outside areas. Next is our directional antennas focused on the radio signal in a given direction. For our MIMO or our multiple input, multiple output uses multiple antennas to increase available bandwidth with for IEEE 802.11 NAC-AX wireless networks. LAN operation. LAN 802.11 wireless topology modes. Our In our 802.11 wireless topology modes, we have ad hoc mode. This is when two devices connect wirelessly in a peer-to-peer manner without using APs or wireless routers. In our infrastructure mode is when wireless clients interconnect via a wireless router or AP such as in LAN. Our tethering, a variation of the ad hoc topology, is when a smartphone or tablet with cellular data access enabled to create a personal hotspots. And then we have BSS and ESS, our basic service set. For our BSS, consists of a single AP interconnecting all associated wireless clients. And in our extended service set, provides insufficient coverage. Two or more BSS can be joined through a common distribution system into an ESS. Next, we have our 802.11 structure and our SMA-CA, our wireless client and AP association, passive and active discover mode. In our passive, the AP openly advertises its service by periodically sending broadcast beacon frames containing the SSID, supported standards, and security settings. In our active mode, wireless client must know the name of the SSID. Next, we have our CAPWAP or our control and providing or wireless access points. CAPWAP is an IEEE standard protocol that enables a WLC to manage multiple APs and LANs. Split MAC architecture, we have our AP MAC functions and WLC MAC functions. DTLS is a protocol which provides security between the AP and WLC. Our Flex Connect APs, we have connected mode or mode is the Flex Connect AP has CAPWAP connectivity with its WLC and can send traffic through the CAPWAP tunnels. Our standalone mode has lost or failed to establish CAPWAP connectivity with its WLC. Next is our channel management. Under that, we have a frequency channel saturation. We have DSSS, our direct sequence spread spectrum, our FHSS, our frequency hopping spread spectrum, and our orthogonal frequency division multiplexing or our OFDM. Channel selection, plan a LAN deployment, and we have our LAN threats. In our LAN threats, we have wireless security overview, we have interception of data, wireless intruders, denial of service or our DOS attacks, and ROG APs. DOS attacks, we have improperly configured devices, a malicious user intentionally interfering with the wireless communication, and an accidental interference. We also have ROG access points, man-in-the-middle attack, and last for the Chapter 12, we have SSID cloaking and MAC addresses filtering. This is to secure our ones. For using SSID cloaking, MAC addresses filtering, and for our 802.11 original authentication methods, we have open system authentication and shared key authentication. Shared key authentication methods, we have authentication method, word equivalent privacy, Wi-Fi protected access, and WPA2 and 3. Authenticating a home user, we have personal and enterprise. Encryption methods, temporal key integrity protocol, and advanced encryption standard 8 or our AEs. Authentication in the enterprise, we have radio server IP addresses, UDP port numbers, and shared key. WPA3, we have personal, enterprise, open networks, and IoT onboarding. Last for our CCNA version 7, we have our Chapter 13, the LAN configuration. And we have here our remote site LAN. Remote site LAN. We have the wireless router. In our WLC topology, we have here our topology, and then the MAC addressing table. In our login to the WLC, you have to use the know your name and the password. View AP information, advanced settings, configure a WAN or our LAN, and then our maybe packet tracers. Next is our SNMP reduce for our 13.3 configure a WPA2 enterprise LAN on the WLC. We have configure SNMP server information, configure radius server information, topology with LAN 5 addressing, configure a new interface, and configure a DHCP scope, configure a WPA2 enterprise LAN, and our, of course, packet tracers. We have troubleshoot LAN issue. We have troubleshooting approaches. Wireless clients not connecting. Troubleshooting when the network is slow. We have upgrade your wireless clients and split the traffic. Next, updating firmware. And then, of course, packet tracers. In this chapter 13, we have so many packet tracers activity. So, see you on my next video. That's all for the summary of our CCNA version 7 Bridging SRWE course, our switching, routing, and wireless essentials. Thank you for watching!